Shanti, good evening, everyone.
Om
Good
Shanti.
evening.
Om Shanti.
Good evening.
Did everyone have a good long weekend? Yes?
Yes, yes.
All set to get
Yes.
back from tomorrow to the daily routine? Some of us got a break from the daily routine these 3 days, and then we can now go back to that. And in today's Murli, Baba is talking so much about tolerating. Before we even start with the Murli, does anybody remember the title of the Murli that we are going to discuss on? What was the title of
The
your?
second stage of the courage is tolerance.
The second step of courage is tolerance. And what's the first step of courage?
Surrender.
The first step of courage is to surrender. And the second step of courage is tolerance. So this Murli that we are going to revise is all about Brahma Baba, the life story of Brahma Baba, which is about love, which is about faith, which is about lots of courage. And it's a story which everyone should know, not just us Brahmins. The whole world should know, and eventually they will. So in today's Murli, we will talk about Brahma Baba. And this Avyakt Murli was read on January 30th, 1988, which is close to 18th of Jan. And that's why Baba spoke about Brahma Baba and some of his beautiful qualities. So first thing Baba spoke about was that how he has come to meet his elevated creation. So when Baba comes, he's looking at all his beautiful children and he's not looking at the bodies, but he's looking at the souls. There was one story when a group of brothers, they came to Madhuban and they came, they had some delays in their journey. And by the time they reached Madhuban, Bab Dada's meeting had already started. And they had not showered, they had continuous journey in the train, in the Indian trains. And so they just went and walked directly in front of Bab Dada, and they just stood there feeling not so good internally because they felt they had not freshened up and before meeting Baba. But Baba just looked at them and said to them that you are my shining jewels of light. And that's all I can see. So Baba was really looking at the souls and nothing else at all. And yes, I did put up a board. So we're going to start putting some pointers as we discuss the Murli. So that's why you do see a white screen on Zoom screen. So when Baba came, when Baptada came, first thing he said is that I am looking at my elevated creation. And when he said that I'm looking at the Almighty creation, at the creation, he's looking at the number one creation. And from that number one creation, he is looking at the first creation of that number one creation. So we all know that we are Brahmins, but among the Brahmins, who was the first one to become a Brahmin? It was Brahma Baba himself, right? He was the one who first became a Brahmin because Shiv Baba entered in him. He was the first one to surrender because he was the one who gave everything away in order to go on this spiritual path. So Brahma Baba is the one who is number one in everything. And that's why Baba says, I am first looking at him and I'm looking at the first creation, and even in that I'm looking at the number one there. And then Baba gives him the title of being an Adi Dev. An Adi Dev, so Adi stands for first, Adi stands for original. So here Baba says that Brahma Baba was the one who first got this knowledge. He was the first one who was starting to listen to what Shiv Baba was saying. So, in terms of everything, he became first, and he became the example that everyone would follow. So, being that sample, being that example, was was something that he had to become for all his children to follow. So here, Baba says Adi Dev means he is first in the confluence age because he was the first student that became Baba's child. And then he also is number one in the golden age because he is the one who becomes Krishna in the golden age. So, number one in all aspects in the age of confluence, also in the age of the golden. He is the first one who's created and he becomes Krishna. And Baba says he's also the one who first became the Karmatit angel. So he was the first one who became Avyakt and is now in the subtle region with all of us. That's why he even becomes the number one angel. And what made him that? Baba is now telling you, yes, he is number one, but what was it that made him so powerful, that made him number one in everything? And yes, firstly, of course, it is surrender. Because of his surrendering, he was able to gain that power from Baba and even gain that power to tolerate a lot of situations and challenges that came in front of him the moment he became Brahma Baba, the moment he got the spiritual knowledge. And Baba talks about the different situations he had to tolerate. Baba first talks about the tolerance that came in the form of bad words, where the world was completely, once upon a time, giving him so much respect. Now, suddenly, they were criticizing him, speaking wrong words, saying just things which were completely false about him, so false accusations. So he had to face all the situations where the whole world turned against him, the world that once adored him so much. He was a favorite of the society, even the royal clients came to him. So he held such a good prestige in a prestigious status in this world, and then suddenly that was not there. Suddenly this was like the whole world turned against him. So first, of course, came in the form of defamation. And how was Brahma Baba able to handle that? Was through tolerance, was through the acceptance. And what was the acceptance that Brahma Baba had? That these people are actually good. They are just having a negative external influence on themselves at the moment. Because even if you see all the people that were opposing Brahma Baba, they had a good status in the society. They were reputed people. They were known for their philanthropic activities. So, yes, they were a good members of the society, but still, of course, they were, opposing the yagya because their family members were going in, and that was not something they liked. So then they started opposing. So when Brahma Baba was looking at them, he was not looking at them as someone who's trying to do something wrong to me. He was still seeing their goodness in them, with that acceptance that yes, they are very good. It's only that now they are under this negative influence. Just like when a person is fine, suddenly the person gets fever, so we know that this person is not doing well. There's fever. So let me heal that. Let me give a right medicine for that fever. We don't consider that person to be sick all the time because we have seen them in being better, being healthier, right? It's the same here too. No one in the world comes with impure sanskaras. We acquire it as we go to it through our journey. So why do we look at that old sanskara now in others and consider that to be their original nature? when it really is not. This is something which is acquired. It's like catching a fever. So, what we have to do from our end is we have to give them the right medicine so that they can also heal and they can also vibrate with the peaceful and pure vibrations that you are carrying. So it's not about us losing our peace, but it is about us maintaining our peace and also sharing that vibrations, that love with others. Right? So then Baba looked at them, seeing that purity in them, and constantly gave those who were speaking badly about him good wishes and pure feelings. So he was constantly giving them good wishes. And this was enabling him to be powerful, because when I am good, giving good wishes to someone, what is the state of my being? I'm in a very powerful state that time. I am powerful enough to keep that smile on my face no matter what insults are coming. Baba said it this Murli. Yes, when someone appreciates you, you smile, but can you still maintain that smile and that lightness when someone is defaming you? Hmm? Because when someone speaks good about us, we immediately accept it, we make it our own, which is why we become happy. But when someone is defaming us, what Baba is saying is don't accept what they are saying, but accept that they are going through some pain within. And that will allow you not to take their words personally and make them your own words. Someone says that you are a bad person, and then I accept it and I say to myself, I am a bad person. That is what is causing hurt. It is what I am telling myself, not the one who is telling me something. So accept that, yes, they are not in a good state of mind, but do not accept what they say to you and make that your own. And Brahma Baba had that power of to tolerate, had that power to understand that they're not bad people. So and whatever they're saying, no matter what the influence is, let me send them good wishes. So this was one part of tolerance, one scene of tolerance that emerged during those days of the yagya. And then the second one, of course, was when Baba started to talk about service. And even in service, lots of challenges came initially. The challenges were in the form of the aspect of purity, when sisters and mothers, they wanted to surrender and follow this path of purity, which was not accepted in the society, because women at that time were not allowed to make their own decisions. And here someone is making such bold decisions for their life, so really against the norm, but still the power they had to tolerate no matter what insults came in, no matter how much beatings they got because of wanting to follow their own heart. And of course, the period of beggary, when there wasn't enough food to eat in the yagya. And imagine many of you have your own children, and if you don't have enough food to feed them, suppose there's no food to give to your children tomorrow, what would be going on in your mind? I don't have, there's no food, there's no stock for tomorrow. What will I give the children? There's so much thoughts of anxiety or fear could be created. But here, Brahma Baba was with a group of 350 souls, not knowing what they are going to eat the very next day or what they are going to eat the very next meal, but still being so light and easy, still just allowing Shiv Baba to take care of everyone without getting afraid or without having any feelings of doubt. So this is really, the highest degree of surrender, when even the children, even for the children, he knew Baba was taking care. I don't have to worry. And so he remained light and easy even in that situation. And then, of course, when it was about service, they also had to face challenges when it came to land. So they didn't have proper land to serve for the yagya. And then uh, so many times they were asked to move from one place to another, but they willingly accepted that. They moved from one place to another, and each place was only taking them more and more closer to Baba and getting them united more and more. So, how challenges came, but how Brahma Baba and all those with him were able to fly over each of those challenges so easily with the lightness and with a smile on their face. And Baba said, what was the main reason for all this was definitely tolerance, because there was acceptance, and also there was this feeling that everything that is happening is for the benefit. So let me look at the benefit. Let me look at the situation as what can I learn from this situation? So when I look at it from a beneficial point of view, Baba says that even a situation which is as big as a mountain, it will become as small as a ball. So if you look at a ball, it looks big. It does look big, but the moment you take it in your hand, you you know it's light and you can even bounce it up and down. So there's lightness in that ball. So how does that lightness come? Baba says, how did that lightness come when something which was so major and so severe could be accepted? Was because of the power to merge and to be in the essence. So there wasn't any expansion, but there was this feeling or this power to merge everything. And also second was the point which was taken very seriously and practiced, was nothing new. We have seen this before and we're seeing it all over again. We have been victorious, and again in this situation, in this kalpa, I'll be victorious. So it was not really about seeing problems as problems and expanding it in your head, but they were becoming an embodiment of solution because they were looking at the essence of everything. Baba says, how does that expansion happen? Baba even said that in the Murli. How does the expansion happen? Because if there is one problem, you're thinking about the problem continuously and you also start to share it with others. So the moment I have a problem and I share the problem with a second person, I am just adding more energy to the problem because I'm speaking about the problem again. Then I speak to the third person, I add to the energy of the problem. So the problem might be so small, but I talk about it to multiple people and it becomes this big in my head. So Baba says it could be as small as a cotton wool, but you made it a mountain by thinking about it, by speaking about it. And the moment I speak about it to others, they also start thinking about the problem. And then that energy more and more expands, and the problem gets bigger in our eyes. So rather than expanding it by speaking about it, why not we take knowledge, and now why don't we take the power from our yoga and we be in the essence? So that is why Baba says use knowledge, use yoga at these times, and they will help you remain in the essence. Expansion will lead to confusion because you're fused with there's the connection with Baba, the fuse, there is a fuse. There's no longer a connection anymore. So there will be lots of confusion. But the moment we accept, one is we allow ourselves to be stable, accepted. Okay, it's like that. So stability, stillness comes in. And when the stability and stillness is there, I am able to connect with Baba and get Baba's guidance. When we reject things inside of us, we're not able to make connections with Baba because we are, all the energy is focused on, I cannot accept this, this cannot happen. So I'm just focused on rejecting. But the moment I accept, and what happens with accepting, the next step comes responsibility. When I reject something, then this nothing is, so no longer it's not my responsibility, because I rejected that idea or that situation itself. So of course there's no responsibility tied to it. But the moment I accept something, the next step gradually I'll move forward towards is responsibility. What am I supposed to do here? Mm? And then, with that responsibility, we take further steps of actually connecting to Baba and also facing that problem which lies in front of us. Baba says in this, Murli, that when there is expansion, it's like a bottle which is empty and it's rattling, it's making so much sound. And we all know when we don't accept things, there's so much turmoil going on within, right? There's so much confusion. So even if you're not, and sometimes because of that, even physically we start to shake. There's trembling happening even at a physical level because the mind is so disturbed. So that's the rattle. And then Baba says, when you are in the essence, you're full because you're tapping into what in you can bring about that change in the situation or can solve that situation. So you're tapping in within your own self, which is filled with so much treasures. You have knowledge, you have yoga. So Baba says, use these tools that Baba has given you in order to overcome all your problems. And it's about being in the essence, which means using a shortcut. So, Baba says those who come last will go first. How will they go first? Is because they don't go into the expansion, which comes along in our journey. They remain in the essence. And that's why the route to the destination becomes shorter. And we're able to gallop ahead of those who have been in this knowledge for a very long time because we understand the importance of time and we understand the importance of Baba's knowledge and what Baba Srimat is. And we spend time remembering Baba no matter where we are. So, all of this coming together keeps us in a sense. There's no expansion or waste happening within. And our route to the destination becomes shorter, becomes very, very short. Yes? So, this is about being in the essence and not going into expansion, which is really the longer route to a journey. So, when we use our GPS, the GPS by default gives us the shortest route unless we change the settings. So, even in our lives, when we are soul conscious, really the settings which are happening internally is to make our path easy, to make our path very easy so that yes, we can become pure, we can become deities, but there's no struggle that we have to go through. We apply Baba's knowledge, his power, and with that power we move along. So any questions still now? Anyone? it, I don't want it to be just me speaking. So if someone can speak for maybe
No
just share.
question.
Yes,
Om
No
Shanti.
question.
no questions.
We are good.
Good. Okay. All right. So that was about tolerance, which is acceptance, and then Baba spoke about the 14 years of yagya and how beautifully he shared that whole paragraph where he spoke about how all those children of Baba, they came to the yagya. They came from very rich families where they didn't have to do any labor, any physical work. Everything was given to them so easily. And here they come into the yagya and they have to do all this physical work on their own. They have to make balls out of
Pose.
powder. So they have to make a big balls out of cow dung, and that cow dung was actually used to heat the water. because they were all living up in the mountains where it's really cold, the water is cold. So they used to use the cow dung as a fuel in order to light the fire, in order to heat the water. And there used to be a brother who would take up this responsibility, this seva of heating the water early in the morning. So he would wake up at 2 in the morning and he would use these cow dung patties and turn on the fire and heat all the big boilers that were there, which would make the water hot. And he started the process at 2, and then by 3:30 in the morning, the water would actually become hot for the residents to use once they would start waking up. So Baba even remembers that child a lot, and he says that he earned his fortune by doing that seva, and he did that seva with a lot of love, with pure feelings to serve, and that's why Baba says he's going to be rewarded a lot for what he did. Um, so different kinds of service, also being working with cars and mechanical things. So there is one picture where Dadi Nirmal Shanta, she's under a vehicle and she's fixing the vehicle, the car. She became a mechanic. And there's a picture where it's clicked where she's under the car and she's still smiling. She's happy because there is that, it's the pleasure that is there. The service is happening, but it's coming from the heart. So it gives pleasure and it gives a lot of happiness. And then, of course, they became shoemakers. Became tailors. They used to do stitching. And there was a story once when one sister was stitching, and Mama came to her. And while she was stitching a shirt. And then Mama said, "Please stitch this coat for Baba." And the sister said, "Mama, I don't know how to stitch a coat." Then Mama told her, "But you know how to stitch a shirt, correct?" And then she said, "Yeah, I know how to stitch a shirt." Then she said, "Why can't you stitch a coat? You should try doing it. Don't just say no straight away." Because when we say no, the power to learn decreases. When we say yes, the power to learn increases. And you also get blessings from Baba because you said yes. So always say Haji, and you will keep on moving forward and forward in your spiritual path. So, yes, so it was all about this physical seva that they had to do. And Baba said, but still they did it with so much happiness. And in fact, during that time, there were no proper roads to go to Madhuban. So it was up in the mountains and there were no roads to go. So the sisters were even helping in building roads. Baba got some instruments which gave them instructions on how you can build roads, how you can bring up the electric poles, and they were doing it all by themselves. And so Baba gives such beautiful scenes in front of us where we can look at and learn from that. Wow, the dadis did so much. And we should definitely, no matter what service is given to us, accept from our heart, and from that heart, do the seva. And then we'll keep getting Baba's blessings. So, so here is so here Baba talks about that when service was happening, how any or whatever type of service came, Baba's children were doing it. And even now, Baba says, whatever service comes to you, accept it with an open heart and do it with a lot of love. Because when you do with that love, you will get the return of that love also through that service. And it's very, very interesting how there was so much acceptance because they had that love for Baba. And really, what Baba wants us to do is develop that love for him. Because when there is love, the acceptance comes very, very easily. And then Baba was talking about that now, when some people surrender, they when they are given service to do more of the physical service, they tell Baba that Baba they came to become a teacher, so They ask questions that we didn't come to do manual work, or we didn't come to do this household work, but it's all a family, so you have to do everything. And that's what Baba is reminding us through this, through these few sentences that he mentioned in the Murli, that we have to do it with an open heart. And that will only fill ourselves with our hearts with more love and with more blessings from Baba. So, so then in the next phase of the Murli, Baba was talking about the tolerance when it even came to accepting those who became traitors. And traitors really mean those who came to Baba's yagya, took the knowledge, were with Baba, and then left due to whatever reasons they had. And and even when those ones who would leave the yagya, they left, of course, because of certain situations and challenges they faced and their own sanskaras. So, whenever some of them would come back and share their stories, or even if they would go out and talk about the things of the yagya, they would say things about the yagya, but they had never anything, they never said anything about Brahma Baba and Mama. No one complained about them. Everyone just had such good things to say about Mama and Brahma Baba, because they were the embodiments of love, the pillars of love. So they would say Mama and Baba are absolutely great souls. They are very pure souls. Yes, they left due to whatever their reasons are, but there was so much love that they all received from Mama and Baba. And even when the souls came to Baba and Baba would see the weaknesses in them, Baba would always empower them with words of power, words filled with power, with powerful vibrations, which enabled them to overcome their own weaknesses. So they were seeing, they were they were coming to Baba, and Baba was in a way merging all their weaknesses and giving them a lot of power to to become stronger, to become more and more capable of doing things. That was their speciality. And even though Baba knew that this soul would probably be leaving the yagya soon, many times when a soul was leaving to go to their family, Brahma Baba would know that this soul is not going to come back. But still, Brahma Baba would let them depart and give them the same love he would give to any other child of Baba's. And so, in spite of knowing the soul's not going to come back, it's going to go on a different journey, that love was the same for each and every soul. There was kindness, there was mercy, there was compassion for each and every soul. And that's why Baba says that yes, souls were discontent, but even with that tolerance power, even those souls were given that power to progress, and even those who left were given that good wishes to continue with their different journey. So I see two messages in the chat. So why Babas use such a strong word traitor? It is usually a very negative label to another. Please explain more. So, see, the word traitor, yes, it does have a strong negative connotation to it. But I think what Baba is really using it is in terms of this being a war. And in a war, there are traitors who are on your side, but after some point, they are against you. And so they were with you, they got all the skills and everything from your end, but then they go ultimately to another party which is working against you. So even if you just look at it from a battlefield, Baba says, this confluence age is also a battlefield, the battle which we're having. And so if you look at it from a battlefield, this word applies to to those in a war. But yes, Baba doesn't have that negative feelings for those souls. He just uses that word to explain that yes, such things happened, and like it happens in a war, which is why the word is given to it. So hope that helps. If you have any further questions, Tim, please feel free to ask. And the second word is maybe original Hindi Baba use in the Hindi Murli. Baba did not use the exact translation as traitor. Well, in some Murlis, the word traitor does come, but again, you don't have to look at it from a strong negative perspective. You just need to look at it from an aspect of a war, someone who changed sides, with someone who's no longer with you, right? Um, but still, of course, that love was there, that pure wishes was there for the soul. All right. So that was about the third aspect of power of tolerance when it came to those souls who were leaving the yagya. And then of course, when it came to service, it was about doing everything with pleasure, which means to have moj and not munj jana. The Hindi word moj and munj are very, very close. And moj means to have the pleasure, whereas munj jana means you wilt, you sulk. Because why do we wilt and sulk? Because we come with expectations that I should be given this duty, or I should be given this respect. And if that's not given, then we start to wilt. And many times we wilt because we start to compare ourselves with others, that, oh, this soul is getting to do this seva or this duty. I am given this one. But you have to understand, we all started from those duties itself. We all started from those duties and we started progressing. So even if someone as brilliant as Jagdish Pai, who was so intellectual, who had such good academic knowledge, he came to Baba, he came to the Yagya. Even he was first given duties of cleaning the floor, doing the dishes, and then slowly, eventually given other seva to do. And it's not really about what kind of seva you're doing. For example, you're giving a class to thousands of souls. For many, it would be, oh, this is very good seva. But are you in Baba's remembrance? Are you doing it with, with from your heart? Are you filling others with the vibrations of purity while you're giving the lectures? Are you in your Avyakt stage? If all that is not there, then all that words which were spoken to thousands of souls don't have so much value. So we look at physical things and we start to compare with one another. But when you look at the subtle aspects, someone who could be doing the dishes could be doing a much better service than someone giving a class to thousands of souls, because in a very deeper level, they're doing it with a lot of love. They're remembering Baba and doing it. So not to look at physical things and compare ourselves with each other, but in a very subtle way, be with Baba, take every opportunity and keep on doing it in Baba's remembrance. That truly is surrendering. And that truly is uh, that feeling where I have no expectations, that whatever Baba gives me, I accept and I do it. So that love is there. And through that love, even the power is emerging. So then Baba talks about the inner state through the service. And if our inner state is not good, it will naturally show in our attitude, it will show in our vision, and from our vision, it will come in our actions. So if there's jealousy within someone, so that whole the waste that's running in the mind of a soul who's jealous because they're comparing with someone else, that whole waste that's running in the mind will only weaken that soul, and it will only make that soul rattle, right? Because when we are comparing ourselves, we're looking at their speciality And we are creating that negative energy that why don't I have that speciality? So I am not even able to subtly pull that speciality towards me because my negative energy blocks that speciality. So in a way, I do want that speciality, but because I am comparing and I'm sending negative energy, I'm even blocking that passing of that speciality to me in a subtle way. That's why Baba says when you look at the speciality and you appreciate, genuinely appreciate the specialities in other, you in a way subtly attracted to yourself. So look at the specialities in others. And when you look at the specialities of others, the reward will be your own specialities will start to emerge. It will give that Baba says the seed is there in all of us. In one Murli Baba said the seed of speciality is there. Let it emerge. And how will it emerge? When I start seeing specialities in others. That's the way. There was one soul Mama and was complaining about another soul. So Mama told her, you first speak of the specialities of the soul, then you speak of a point of a Murli, and then you tell me what complaint you have. And she couldn't say anything because she immediately remembered the point of the Murli, and she said, well, Baba today said not to look at the defects of anyone, just look at specialities. So there's nothing I want to say now, Mama. I know it's something I have to practice. So how beautifully, Mama always gave solutions to others based on the points of the Murli of that day itself. She used those points and she resolved the problems that came during the day with those points. And so once even Brahma Baba had asked Mama that, the soul who is sitting in front of me, or front of you, tell me one weakness of that soul. And Mama would never speak about anyone's weaknesses. She would not utter about it. She would not even think about it. But Brahma Baba told her that you tell about one weakness of that soul. So Mama always said Haji. Mama never said no. So Mama said Haji. And she was like, okay, Baba, I will tell. But before that, let me speak about 10 specialities of the soul. And that soul was sitting in front and she spoke and she praised that soul a lot for all the specialities the soul had. So the soul got power because she was talking about the specialities. She was sharing the specialty she saw. And then at the very end, she said, and there's just this one thing, a one sanskar in you, which you work on that will really make you go very, very ahead in this journey. So she even put it in such a casual way. She didn't put it like this is something very severe and you need to do this. And sometimes we speak things with a lot of authority and force, like you need to change. She just said it very casually that there is this one thing, if you change in you, you will definitely go very ahead. And she spoke that weakness. But that soul had already gained so much power from Mama based on what Mama had shared earlier, that the soul had the capacity to accept and also the power to work on that weakness. So such was the beauty of Mama and Baba. So any questions so far? Okay. So and then Baba also in today's Murli, yesterday's Murli, it was really about tolerance. So now, how can we use tolerance in our day-to-day lives? When someone comes and says something to us, how can we tolerate? How can we take these points, what Baba explained, and use it in our practical life? If someone comes and tells you something, insulting words, what is it that you can remind yourself of? Would anyone like to share?
See him as a soul, not a role.
See him as a soul and not a role. Okay. So you're really focusing on the virtues and not really on those harsh words that are being spoken. What else? So there must be definitely a
Yeah.
time someone must have come and
Every
told you something.
everyone
So
everyone is
you can
playing them
imagine
own part.
me. Yes, go ahead.
Everyone is playing them own part nicely. Then
Everyone is playing their own role part nicely. Okay.
When you have a knowledge, you don't have a question why or what and how. You accept the situation or the, yeah.
So is that what I'm going to tell myself? I accept.
In the sense of when you have a knowledge, Baba is giving you
Mm,
every day. So when you have a knowledge and yoga, you have a receive power and you understand. You know that when situation come, just like Brahma Baba did it. So
mhm.
whatever situation he knows, and just like you give the example of influence, but when you understand it, then you not ask the questions.
Right.
Hmm.
So now practically,
Accept, and more you accept, more you are, mm, then you become merciful, to others. And I think that's why Brahma Baba have a specialty of tolerance, because he is a merciful and benevolence feeling toward each every soul. So, and another point I want to mention, if you don't like, you have to, just like a sister said, Abhi, and to see the role, don't see the, soul, not a role. And most of time they see the role, so that's a, another very very strong point I will felt. We see the soul, not a role.
yes,
It's needs so much practices been before.
Hmm.
needs practice. So, so here are a few things we can keep in mind when someone is coming and telling us something harsh. One is Baba knows me. Hmm? Baba knows me. So whatever this soul is saying, it's okay. That's this person's perspective, but Baba knows me. And Baba knows what I'm going through, and Baba knows what sanskaras I have in me. So, what really matters to me is Baba knows what the truth is. And if from my end I'm doing everything according to Srimad, why do I have to be afraid, or why do I have to get upset when others are against it or against my practice or what I am speaking or doing? Right? What I'm really here for is Baba's love. And when Baba's seeing that, and Baba's seeing me follow his Srimad, then why do I have to worry about what others are saying? Usually, what happens is someone says something bad about us first of all to us, and then they start talking bad even to others, and that bothers us also. That why is this person spreading something about me to others? Then again, ask yourself in that question that others can see me for themselves. Why do they have to believe someone else who's telling them about me? Hmm? Right? So we can see for ourselves, we can see others. Someone may speak very badly about a person, but when I have an interaction with that person and I'm only getting love and peace from that soul, really, I mean, what that person said earlier doesn't matter anymore because I'm experiencing something completely different when I'm interacting with the souls. So, not to even be afraid or upset about what they're telling others because others can see for themselves, and to remind you that I am who I am. Hmm? I am who I am. I'm just following my heart. I'm doing things as per Baba's guidance, as per what my heart wishes to do. So whenever you have to follow your heart, and if and whatever is your heart asking you to do is the opposite of what society is asking to you to do, there will be upheavals, right? Because the society wishes to follow a norm and you go against it. So there will be questions, there will be conflicts, but it's okay. It's okay. That's how change comes. Change doesn't come with wide acceptance all of a sudden. It comes with step by step people, individuals coming together and making that change happen. So when something has to change, there will be initial opposition. But if you know this is something which is coming purely from the heart, where there is nothing and there's nothing against any soul. What we're really wanting to do is connect everyone to God. We're not going against any soul here. So why should we be afraid, or why should we even feel insulted when someone insults us? Huh? Let them think what they think. It's okay. And that's what Baba makes us so independent. It's 4th of July. It was 4th of July when this Murli was spoken. And rightly, he spoke on these words which make us independent of what others think about me or what others speak about me, because it's okay. It's their thoughts, their words. When they come in front of me, and through my power of remembrance, through my dharna, I can have a positive influence on them, their mind will change, right? So let me at least keep myself stable. I may not be able to prove them through words. I can prove them through my actions, my attitude. So let me be best in those areas. Yes. And always see specialities in others. That's really, even the ones tolerate, which are who are insulting you, see their specialities and just give them good wishes. So that's really how it is. And so we don't feed on anything negative, but we destroy the negative by being positive ourselves. And that's how you become destroyers of obstacles. You maintain your self respect. And with that self respect, you become an embodiment of solutions. When self respect is there, you're never disturbed by thoughts of what's happening outside of you. And when your mind is clear, automatically solutions will start to emerge, because solutions only come when there's peace. So keep your mind peaceful. Look at them as souls, just like how Arti Ben said, not what they're speaking to you, but as someone who's probably needing help at the moment, and you be the ones who can give them that subtle help through your vibrations. So that was a little bit about the sharing from yesterday's Murli. And also when Baba speaks about courage. So courage is opposite of fear. And what are the things we're afraid of in our lives? Mostly we're afraid of how are the others going to feel about what I do. That uh, not is not making me progress. For example, if I have to speak in front of others, and if I have the fear of what if I speak wrongly. So again, it's an aspect of body consciousness, that why do I have that fear for saying something wrong, when what I'm really doing is speaking the truth, is speaking the knowledge what Baba has given, the ocean of truth, following the directions of Baba, which are the true directions. So why should we be afraid when we're really following the truth? Why should we feel like we are not in a position to do this when Baba has already told us that you are all master, almighty authorities? There is nothing you cannot do. So, again, looking at fear, looking at that sanskara of fear and working on it. Which areas are there in my life which are making me afraid of moving forward? There was one research which was done where a group of people were taken together, and they were studied. There was research done on them, and to find out what are the things they're getting afraid of. So of course it was a lot about children, it was all about income, so on and so forth. And 80% of the times, whatever things they were afraid of didn't actually happen in reality. Only 20% of the time, the things what they were afraid of became reality. So that 80% was a wastage of time and energy, and it weakened the soul. It drew the powers out of that soul. So to keep uh, to keep our energy going, for us to be powerful enough to keep on moving forward. In order to connect with Baba, we have to work on this aspect. We have to be courageous. Courage is what is going to lead us to victory. Courage is what is going to take us to our next step in learning. So always be ready, and always have that courage, because one step from your end and Baba will help you with thousands, even more than thousands. So, Acha. So this was really it from today's sharing. Um, Anything else from anyone, or anything y'all want to share that y'all learned from today? Feel free to do so. We do have few minutes left, so it'll be nice to hear from you all.
Sneha, I have something to say.
Sure, go ahead.
I understood tolerance in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going through some kind of situation where I felt myself very defeated. But after hearing this 1 hour from you, I have gathered courage and also an insight into what I really should do. And thank you for that.
Thank you to Baba Shantivan. Spoke this Murli for you.
Like, I like what you said. Like, Baba knows me, and he knows who I am, and I like that one, what you say. Yeah. Because we try to do something, but when the opposite person doesn't accept it, then yeah, I can always say, Baba knows me. Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
why
yeah.
never leave Baba's hand. Never leave Baba's hand.
Probably, yeah. Yes.
Om Shanti, Baba always protect me when I follow his Srimad accurately.
Yes. Well, this protection is always there, but we also have to make our own effort to follow his directions.
If you want to do service, do be by heart, not and tell Haji, whatever Baba say, learn Haji.
Haji, from the heart. Yes. That'll make our heart bigger and bigger with love. Yes. All right. Okay. We'll take a minute of silence and then we will close. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti, thank you.